There's a lot of academic interest at the moment in complexity and a recognition that a number of the problems that leaders try to deal with are complex and interconnected.
For example, in Lambeth there is a piece of work that I have been involved in that I'm really proud of, actually, and it's known as the LEAP programme. So it's the Lambeth Early Action Programme, and it was a programme that brought together community stakeholders in a borough that is highly diverse, highly complex, crime issues, but highly complex community and social challenges. And what happened is we came together as a partnership and were able to, profile our communities. We profiled 4 particular wards where we identified that growing up as a child, for example, in that area would mean that you were more vulnerable or susceptible to a life where actually you would inevitably come to the attention of the police. You would inevitably be criminalised, that actually your attainment in education would be low.
So thinking about how you lead in a complex issue like drugs, for example, it's multifaceted, lots of different angles on it. So as a police leader, you might want to be working with schools to do education around drugs. You might want to be working with parents. You probably want to be working with the health service over mental health issues, for example, and substance abuse. You probably want to be working with mental health charities and addiction charities. You might want to be working with the International Development Department for thinking about how to create alternative sources of economic activity for those countries that produce drugs currently. And all that before you actually get to the police service and what it does to both educate and inform and also enforce drugs policy.
I'm one of 43, at least, Chief Constables, sort of 43 Home Office forces within England and Wales. And so although I have responsibility, accountability and leadership within the Thames Valley area, clearly I don't operate on my own in many respects because we operate nationally as well. And part of it is about how I work with my peers who I don't have control over, and I have to influence. So there are many areas where I lead nationally, and it's about how I garner support in terms of the issues that I'm dealing with and to try to encourage things to move forward. And I think a lot of that is about people have to trust you.
Dealing with conflict and complexity, as a public leader, you might say, well, let's just pack up and go home. This is too complicated. But actually, there's a number of things that as a public leader you can learn to do. The first is to really analyse and think about the situation that you're in. I would argue that that requires thinking about political astuteness. It requires thinking about the environment, the different people involved, the different interconnections going on. And then part of the job of a leader is not just to solve the problem on your own, but to mobilise other people to get involved in that situation and to start trying to contribute to resolving that situation.